What up, Raffleaters? Welcome back to my channel. We are back in South Rhinefeldt Gardens. This is Caneview Avenue. I just wanted to start here so that I can show you what's happening here in the back of South. So this road runs along the embankment on which this high power line, the power from the power ship comes in on these high tension lines on an embankment. And this road runs beside that embankment. That goes all the way out to the Demerara River. That is the embankment, crosses over the public road and so on. But here, the government is undertaking a street renovation project here in the back of South. So this is Caneview Avenue, and of course, across on the other side, that's Houston. We just passed, I think it was Basu. Basu, I think, is running a housing development, built a housing development just over the canal. Beyond this pile of dirt that was created here, this pile of dirt was created after digging out this trench to widen the road. So beyond that pile of dirt is the housing development. But here we are, we're looking at new developments here in South Rhinefeldt Gardens. And the most important of those developments is that new hotel. That is the 4 Points by Sheraton. This is David Rose Street, looking south on David Rose Street. These are some new warehouses being built. I call this area Warehouse Central in previous videos. But this is David Rose Street looking north. At the end of the street is what we used to call the junction in South Rhinefeldt Gardens. The junction at Mandela Avenue, or what used to be called the back road. And this David Rose Street crosses over Aubrey Barker Road here in South Rhinefeldt Gardens. So there's a whole lot of construction work going on. I mentioned Aubrey Barker Road. That is actually has been widened for most of its length, and it's in fact going to connect, I guess, all the way to Ogle. I promise to give you an update on that in a video in future, but it's not along my exercise path. I would have to deviate from where I normally work, or walk, or run. So that's the reason why I haven't given you an update on Aubrey Barker Road yet. But I have done a walk along Aubrey Barker Road in the past. I think up to Festival City, the junction, the entrance to Festival City. You can go take a look at some of the previous videos, see that in the archives. But yeah, this is what is happening here on Caneview Avenue in South Rhinefeldt Gardens. It's the boundary between Houston and South Rhinefeldt Gardens. And we're back here because we want to see what is happening with this new hotel. This is the Sheraton. That is the 4 Points Hotel by Sheraton. And the last time we were here, they were working on the grounds. So they were rebuilding the boundaries. They were building a new entrance road to the hotel. And they had more or less completed the external facade of the building, which in fact seems to be the case, except there are a couple of scaffolds. There's some scaffolding. It's still up on the building. We don't know exactly what's happening, but we'll take a closer look in a minute. This is Heroes Highway, Right, Ciro's Highway at View Avenue. It's crossing Ciro's Highway. So that's Ciro's Highway looking south towards the roundabout at Eccles Interchange, and that's Ciro's Highway looking north towards the roundabout at South Roundabout and Mandela Avenue, South Aubrey Bark Road and Mandela Avenue. All right, this is South Roundabout Gardens. We're standing in Houston. So yeah, the last time we were here, it seems as if they were building another road, an entrance basically to this hotel, and there it is. So they're actually building this road that runs beside. It's actually running on the embankment. I don't know if they're gonna continue widening Aubrey Barker Road, not Aubrey Barker Road, but Caneview Avenue. But this embankment runs beside the hotel and between the hotel and Caneview Avenue. This canal has been poisoned. I think there's some kind of toxin in this canal. They need to clean that up. The water is black because it's everything has died. Well, not everything. Is some fish coming back there, but I remember seeing a dead cow in that water a few months, a couple of years ago. But yeah, this is what is happening here at this hotel. It's like I said, there was some work going on at the boundary. This is, I think, one of the bridges that they're building here at this avenue, this west side, right? Eventually, this west side is going to be, I guess, a major entrance from Heroes Highway, right? That's one entrance, and they're working on the grounds. So there's piles of building materials still on the grounds. Don't know what this is. It seems as if they're building some kind of tower. Maybe it's one of those signs, pole for a signboard. But yeah, this is what is happening. They're actually building infrastructure in the grounds. I don't know if this is going to be part of a parking lot, but this looks like a guard hut at the entrance, which most of the hotels are implementing now. Might be uh, implemented with a gate so that vehicles have to be checked before they enter the compound. This seems to be a side entrance, right? So this is a side entrance, a side entrance from the from. So yeah, this is an entrance that will allow you to get into the onto the property from Caneview Avenue, and then I guess there's probably going to be another control, a guard hut at this entrance. But this is what the hotel looks like. It is a massive horizontal structure. Now, what seems to be different now, I don't know if it's because of the time of day. We're here at almost 7 o'clock in the morning. You can see the lights are on. So what is clear is that the hotel is now electrified. All right, so you can see the lights are on. This is one of the major, I guess, entrances, the lobby area. You can see there's a light on also on the roof of the building. So clear the hotel is electrified. I can see in the windows, most of them now have curtains. So there are curtains in the windows, which tells me that they probably started furnishing, right? They started furnishing the hotel. See, there's some staircases. You can see those staircases through the window. So the windows are indicate that the hotel is being furnished. Although let's see, there are 4 floors, right? So this is the balcony at one corner, the western corner. You can see the glass doors inside. The top 2 floors are furnished, or at least the curtains you can see in the windows. But on this second floor, right, the second floor windows don't seem to have any curtains behind them. Yeah, but that's what I'm observing. And there's a pair of balconies, or three balconies at that's the eastern end of the building as well. Now, when I first saw this cube structure, cuboid structure, I thought this looked like a um, conference hall or some kind of convention center building because of the massive awning in front, right? That front entrance. But then I noticed there were no windows. So I don't know what's going on in this building. It looks as if it's going to be some kind of uh, auxiliary building, right? This is massive cube basically. But if you go around the building, there are no windows, which I found quite strange. Or maybe they have skylights from above. You'd be able to see if they had skylights. But based on the massive entrance, all right, it seems as if cars can actually drive up onto that awning. It seems as if it might be a venue where people can probably host weddings and conventions, and guests can be driven right up to the entrance. That's what it looks like in this view. So, like I said, they're still working on the grounds, right? There's a lot of work going on in the grounds of the building. This hasn't changed. This is exactly where they were the last time we were in this neck of the woods. Last time we visited, the construction process was about the same. This road has been uh, worked on, so you can see. I think the last time I was here, I had to stop somewhere around at this point because the road had not yet been smoothed out beyond this point. So there's some work going on here to build out the road that runs the basically leveling off this dam. This is the east end of the building. You can see east end of 4 Points by Sheraton, and I guess there is the um, power plant and physical plant at this end of the building. Oh, I was concerned that there were no windows on this building, but clearly there's some kind of entrance. This seems like tall entrances or windows, tall windows to the building, this cuboid structure. And I don't know if this facade in the front here is probably going to be lit up, right? This kind of rust colored facade is going to be lit up, but there's some kind of design. As you can see, there's some kind of design in the facade, which means that you could probably put some lights behind it and it might look different when it's backlit. But yes, guys, that's what's happening. These are my observations here on, what was it, Monday, the 20th of October 2025, taking a look at the 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel. Like I said, there's not a whole lot that you can see in terms of changes since the last time, but they are working on the grounds of the building, of the compound of the hotel. They're probably building out infrastructure. That's what I saw in the beginning at the entrance. They're building bridges and creating parking lots and putting pavement basically on the grounds. It would be nice to see what it looks like when they complete it, see what kind of landscaping they actually do, what they do about this canal, for example, if they're going to build retaining walls here and turn this into a storm drain, or if they're going to keep it as it is. On the other side, this one is polluted, and I wonder if they're going to try to clean up the pollution on this side and restore this water to health. But yeah, this is what's happening here, guys. This is what's happening at 4 Points by Sheraton. Your guess is again as good as mine about when this hotel will be open, but it seems as if they still have a few months of work left on it based on the pace at which they've been working in the past. So I don't know if they're going to build a fence or a wall, but I do see building materials around the property and of course equipment. So that's the state of things, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the progress on the 4 Points by Sheraton. I remember delaying coming back here for a month or so because the pace of progress was not discernible by simply looking at the site from week to week. But I figured it would take a month or two before we see some difference. So that's why I delayed coming back here. But people started requesting a review, a further look, a look back at this 4 Points by Sheraton. And this is where it is at now on October 20th. We're now 2 months to the end of the year. And I don't know if they're going to complete this by year end. See some wall sconces with lights. It looks as if that is another entrance. So the building seems to have three major entrances, but it is a long structure. So I guess it makes sense to put several entrances. Yes, guys, tell me what you think. When is this building going to be completed? Your guess is as good as mine, but in the comments below, tell me what you think about the progress so far and whether you think this building will be completed for Christmas or the new year. That is the 4 Points Hotel by Sheraton. As you can see, still a whole lot of work being done and to be done on the property, demarcating the property lines, building the bridges, the entrance, and so on. So this is where we are. Rains are coming, so I plan also to revisit the government buildings, those 11-story structures that are being built on Hags Bosch Road. But because of this rain, I don't think I'll make it there. So we'll probably do that tomorrow or some other day. But yeah, this is what it looks like here in October. I thought this was going to be a large bridge, but these are actually small pedestrian bridges. Okay, that one might be a larger bridge for vehicles, but this is what it looks like here on the 20th. There is a wide bank of glass doors and windows on the ground floor here on the western side, the west facing side of the building. So my guess is that this is also one of the entrances, the major entrances. You can see the awning there in front, but it's not as large as the awning on the side. I guess for the scale, I don't know, they could have made it larger. Who knows? But this is what it looks like on the western side of the building. Right, this is the 4 Points by Sheraton here in Houston, in Georgetown, Guyana, and this is what it looks. So these guys are already moving in. I guess this is for landscaping. They're moving in uh, trees and plants in plant pots and so on for the landscaping. So I'm looking forward to see how they landscape this building eventually. But this is what's happening here. That's the Sheriff International Mall next door. No progress on that yet. And that is the new headquarters for housing, Ministry of Housing. And of course, behind Ministry of Housing is the new headquarters for water. Right, that's the Ministry of Housing. And behind in the back, that's the Guyana Water Authority. So that's it, guys. That's what's happening in this next week. I'm going to stop at this point because rains are coming and I don't want to get soaked here because my camera equipment could be destroyed. But this is what is happening at Sheraton, 4 Points by Sheraton here in Houston on a rainy Monday morning in October. Today, of course, is Diwali. Happy Diwali to those who are celebrating and celebrants, and Festival of Lights here in Guyana. It's a national holiday, which explains why on a Monday morning there's very little traffic on Heroes Highway at 7 a.m. But yeah, guys, that's what's up in this neck of the woods. Guys are showing up for work. They are going to be working on this holiday. But that's it. That's the 4 Points by Sheraton here in Georgetown, Guyana. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world, Guyana. Later!